I'm Irene McLaughlin. I'm an attorney and mediator from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's been quite a journey to help to get the tools that are necessary for our communities and municipalities to be able to address blighted and abandoned properties. And the Housing Alliance really, over the last 10 years, took this agenda in the state legislature to get the tools that communities and municipalities need. And, for the most part, over the last 10 years, there's been a number of amazing enactments like the Blighted and Abandoned Property Conservatorship Law. But really, it's been mostly dealing with tools that deal on a per property basis, one problem property at a time. And what land banks, this entirely new tool, as of the end of last year, what that offers is a way to really look systematically at how these properties get to the point where they are blighted, they are abandoned, and they need to have a steward come in to take care of them and repurpose them. So it's a very exciting, systematic approach, which is really quite different from anything we've seen before. My experience with land banks thus far has been as a consultant with the Housing Alliance and supporting local efforts in Pittsburgh. The Ravenstall administration in Pittsburgh set up a task force, a land recycling task force, which gathered a lot of different players from the county government, the city government, various departments, the Urban Redevelopment Authority, advocates, community leaders, to really look at what was happening in Pittsburgh and what could happen in Pittsburgh if we were to incorporate land bank practices that we've been seeing and studying develop over, across the country. So what's interesting is that, in a way, we're already paying the price for abandoned and vacant properties. We're doing it in a very reactive way when there's a fire in a vacant structure, when a demo has to happen across from a school. And what we learned in Pittsburgh is that even while Pittsburgh actually has a very small, constrained land bank happening, so it makes them a little different and a little bit ahead of the curve, I do think that it's still the fact that we already are paying the costs, and we ought to look at what those costs are. And then we ought to look at the activities that we do already to deal with the blighted properties. Like, we all have a demolition budget. We're all using a demolition budget to deal with blighted and abandoned properties. We all have some level of processing the tax delinquent accounts to be able to get to the point where they go to sale or not, even if that's outsourced to a servicer doing tax collection. So it's really about the fact that we're already doing all this stuff, but it seems that we have not thought of it as kind of a line of business, as something that, if you think in terms of land banking and connecting the dots from a tax delinquent account, an account going tax delinquent, to the point of a property being abandoned, and how do we go the next step to repurpose it, you start to see this flow, this continuity, this system, this line of business within municipal government. And then you can start to see how you adapt and incorporate land banking practices, which was happening, again, in Pittsburgh before we knew that there was going to be state legislation. Now we have state authorization, and we have a lot more guidance in that law to actually create that system that is the opportunity with land banking. Yeah, with this new authorization, there are those that have said that we can already land bank. That is already part of our municipal powers. The municipality can already take properties into their name. But then it gets murky as to whether or not, the city can actually, or a municipality can hold those properties. So that's really the major big thing that land bank does. It gives a land bank authority the absolutely clear ability to take property and hold it, to bank it, so that you can be thoughtful about how to repurpose it given market conditions. It's the first time that we have the opportunity for government to actually interplay with the private real estate market in a way that they really are dealing with market conditions, being a player, having the opportunity to be a player in the real estate market to get properties out of this limbo of tax delinquency and abandonment and blighted condition and actually make them really ready and available for private investment.